In this exercise demo, we're gonna be covering the dead bug. Why is it called the dead bug? Well, when you get into position, you look like a dead bug. So whoever invented this exercise was extremely creative with their naming. Now the dead bug is kind of like the reverse of the quadruped or the bird dog that we did in the earlier video sequence. This is another fantastic and amazing exercise that you should be doing with your clients. Now, off camera, we were doing some demos and we're going through some of this with Sarah, and we had this little conversation regarding, typical bodybuilding or typical fitness or typical gym core training. And the most common things you're gonna see are crunch variations, leg lift variations. And people think that because they're sore the next day, that they're properly training their core. But the reality is usually what they're doing is just overtraining the rectus abdominis, and they're not actually integrating. They're not integrating TVA, internal, external, obliques, and training the core properly. So people can do 15, 20, 30 sit-ups, and yes, you're sore. But what's amazing is that we want to integrate the core and all of its functions to help protect the spine and control that core control. You should be incorporating these exercises. So let's start off with how to do this. So arms come up, knees come up. Knees will be directly over top of hips. Now in this position, and if you haven't seen the video, watch it, when we talk about how to actually activate the TVA. So in this position here, Sarah's gonna draw in and squeeze. So we're gonna draw in and we're gonna squeeze the core. And if you're not sure if you're squeezing, cough. Good. So draw in, cough, that's gonna squeeze the core. Step number one is just arms. So long lever from the arms, no movement through here. Good, come back up. We can alternate arms. This would be kind of a beginner series. Now the second progression to this will be one leg at a time. So again, I'm watching this. Now you're shaking already. We've only done 2 reps here. We're gonna bring that one leg down, and I don't wanna see that lower lumbar create an arc. So we're gonna keep that transverse and keep the core nice and tight. Bring that back up. We're gonna switch. Keep this nice and tight. Come back up. The next progression, or the third progression, is opposite arm, opposite leg. And again, watching and making sure that this doesn't move. We don't want to see a rotation in the pelvis. We want to see proper activation through the core. Just trying to shake. Other leg, other arm. Good. And now for more of an advanced progression, these limbs are going to push into my hands. And now the opposite limbs will go out. Hold that squeeze in the abs. Oh boy, she says. Come back up. Go ahead. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. Come back up and relax. Now, question for you. That was, what, 8 reps total? The beginner ones don't really count. How does that feel in the core? So do you feel total engagement through here?
Yes.
How does that feel compared to just doing standard crunches?
I feel it all around.
So not just isolated through here. Now the other aspect going through just crunches is we get a lot of spinal flexion. So we live in spinal flexion all the time. We have poor posture, we're at desks, we're in our cars all the time, and we're constantly in this position. So the problem is I don't like administering a lot of exercises that create more spinal flexion. So exercises like this, the bird dog, really require a lot of good core stabilization while keeping the spine healthy, which is critical for your clients.